Hey everybody, Shawn Tubbs here. Thanks for tuning in. Today we're checking out the Royer R122 Mark II. Now, Royer is known for making absolutely fabulous ribbon mics. One of their flagship ribbon mics is the Royer 121. Now, that's a passive ribbon microphone, and I own it and I love it. The R122 is a phantom-powered microphone. So basically, it's going to give you almost condenser microphone outputs, but with a ribbon element. So it's going to sound nice and smooth, but it's going to have plenty of sensitivity and output, especially when you're using softer source inputs like an acoustic guitar or maybe even a vocal. It's going to work much better to the front end of your preamp and of course your recording device. Now, I believe the Mark II is an enhanced version of the first R122, which came out in 2002. What they've done with the Mark II is further enhance that by adding a couple of switches on the back of the microphone. One is a pad. It's a 15 dB pad. And what's great about the pad is it's actually before the electronics of the microphone, so it's going to eliminate the possibility, or almost eliminate the possibility, of inherent distortion from a really loud source. You know, you guys know who you are, you guys with your 200 watt Marshall major amps that want to like blow the polar cap off the earth. That's where the pad switch comes in really handy. It works great. Now, there's also an enhancement. They allow you to have a bass frequency cut, and I believe it's at 100 hertz and down, and it cuts at 6 dB. Now that's great because it allows you, especially with an electric guitar cabinet, it allows you to place the ribbon element closer to the cabinet without risking proximity bass buildup, which can be a problem, especially with ribbon microphones. That takes care of that, and it sounds great. And I certainly employed both these switches when I did the tracks with the electric guitar. I did use the 15 dB cut, and I also used the bass cut in front of the cabinet, and I placed the mic maybe 2 inches off the screen. It just sounded perfect. And then for the acoustic guitar, I didn't obviously need to use the 15 dB pad, so I went ahead and put that to normal, but I did use the bass cut because this room is actually a little bit boomy, so that really helped with the sound of both of my acoustic guitars. Now, the one cool thing about this microphone, and I will demo that with the acoustic guitar, is you can use the back side of the microphone as well, and it sounds great. Obviously, you want to make sure that you phase correct, you know, hit the phase switch when you turn the mic around, but it's a little bit brighter, and especially with acoustic guitar, with my acoustic guitar on fingerstyle kind of stuff, it actually sounded great. So I'm going to let you guys hear that. That's a really cool feature on these microphones. So yeah, without further ado, let's check out this Royer R122 Mark II. Okay, so we are checking out the Royer R122 Mark II. Now, the way I've got it set up is I've put it in front of my red plates open back cabinet. It's loaded with a Celestion 65 creamback that sounds great. Now, what I did with the microphone is I placed it dead center on the cone, maybe 2 inches away from the grill cloth, and it just sounded amazing right away. Now, what I did do is I have employed the low cut filter or low cut switch, as well as the 15 dB pad. I just felt that that worked the best for electric instruments in general, because that source is obviously a lot hotter than, say, an acoustic instrument, and we'll get into that in just a second. Now, one of the things I really loved about the Royer is, as I mentioned, I just placed it in front of the cab, not necessarily willy-nilly. I mean, it's placed dead center on the dust cover, but still, it's just remarkable how easy it was to just get my sound. Now, the other thing I like about especially Royer ribbons is because they don't distort. Effects that are recorded off the cone, like delays and reverbs, still sound nice and clear. They don't get lost. So even right now, you're hearing just a little bit of, I can turn it up, just a little bit of reverb from my Strymon Flint right off the cone. And adding delay sounds great. I just turned on my timeline. It's just a simple kind of digital delay thing. The other thing I loved about it is I was able to go from that straight to a crunch tone. A lot of times I'll dial up this great clean tone on the mic, but then I'll be worried about how my crunch tones are going to sound. In this case, no worries. So it's just a really smooth sounding mic. It dials up really easy. It's super easy to place. Obviously, the sky's the limit with mic placements and whether or not you want to employ the low cut and even the pad, the 15 dB pad. It's just you kind of figure out what is going to work. But overall, there's no rules with this mic. Just set it up and go. It's so natural sounding and just big and open. The top end is nice and airy. The mids are certainly there. It's not a barky mid. I would say if you want to get more of that mid kind of punch, you'd want to use, say, maybe a 57 or something in conjunction with the microphone. But overall, it really captures that source tone, and I was very impressed with how it sounded on electrics, and it's equally as good on acoustics. So let me switch over to acoustic and we'll check that out. Okay, through the magic of TV, I'm now holding a guitar with a hole in it. I've got the mic placed off the 12th fret of the guitar, and this is one of Royer's suggested placements. It's off the 12th fret of the guitar, about 9 inches away, but the mic's actually pointed towards the sound hole of the guitar. And it just sounds beautiful. It just captures so much of this guitar. This is a Roy McAllister Model C acoustic guitar. Now, this is not a set rule either in mic placement, but it did work really great with this guitar. And if I wanted to, I could go ahead and turn the guitar into the mic. So now basically the sound hole is right up into the microphone. And that sounds great too. But that might be a little bit too boomy in a track. That's going to be clearer. And especially if I were to go to more fingerstyle. Right now I don't have the low cut in because I just want you guys to listen to the mic in this manner. But if this got a little too boomy for fingerstyle, I could easily employ that filter and be good to go. It would sound great. Now in this case, I'm running the mic without the pad because this is a softer source input. But yeah, it just sounds beautiful. It places really easily. When I switched to the other guitar for the strum pass, it sat perfectly. I didn't move the mic. I didn't do anything with it. Now, one thing I do want to show you guys really quick, I'm going to turn this mic around because you can use the back side of the microphone and it'll be slightly brighter. So let me do that real quick. I'm doing that without changing the position at all. I'm keeping it exactly the way it was, but with the back side of the mic now pointed towards the sound hole. Now, if you're going to turn the mic around, you're going to have to reverse your phase as well, or change the phase. So I'll go ahead and hit that switch. So now we've got this sound. So that, to my ears, is working better. For fingerstyle, but it's still great with a pick. So that's a really cool trick with this microphone that just sounds great. So I'll go ahead and switch it back around. I'll hit the phase switch, turn it back around. And there's that sound. So it's just a beautiful sounding microphone. It's going to work great on vocals, any acoustic instrument, stringed instruments, wind instruments. It's fabulous on guitar cabinets, as you heard. It's capable of taking really, really loud source input without distorting. So if you've got any further questions, go to the Royer site and check it out. And as always, I really appreciate you guys tuning in, and we'll have another video for you soon.